like Steve Bauer on the radio there.
Yes, and a good job by Derek here, Derek G. To be in this move, you know, the riders that are in it here is a good situation, but unfortunately, no let up in the back in the peloton, and you know, teams wanting to continue. But you see the teams come to the front there. You know, Covertis, for example. Total Energies, all of those guys, these teams, you must have a man up in front, and you have to, you know, try and filter into the breakaway. If there's 4 or 5 riders going, you need numbers, and that's what's the problem there. If you don't have numbers, then you're going to miss it. Then you're going to be in for an earful from your GS, and I think Movistar, that was the situation. But this man here, the Belgium champion, what is he at? Because, you know, he's the whole peloton on tour here. You have to wait and choose your time here, because you're going to pay for those efforts in the end, unless they can break the elastic here and get another group formed.
Welcome back, everybody. This is a true test today. Not just a handful of sectors to please spectators. Capacity for today's stage 9 to be a real classic in the middle of the world's biggest bike race. And it is classic specialists who are at the front. Michal Kwiatkowski, the former world champions here. Arnaud Delis, much to the dismay and displeasure of both Sean Kelly and Robbie McEwen, because he's got a mate up the road.
A mate up the road, and even if he can get into, if the elastic had indeed broken and a big group got away, he's not the man who needs to drive it. Yeah, maybe a quick turn early on to establish it, but for mine, he's doing way too much too early. He's so excited about the prospect of this stage and just feeling so strong. I think he's doing the right thing now, dropping back into the peloton, back into the wheels. I think he's got way too overexcited.
Gap down to 5 seconds now, and what looked like a really nice advantage building up to half a minute. And not really budging is budging, and it's gone south for this group. By the way, this is the most northerly we will go on the Tour de France this year. And for Arnaud Delis, who's from southeast Belgium, this is the closest he's got to a home stage as well. No wonder he's aggressive. And breathe.
And Gaviria, he doesn't know what to do here. He's looking around, waiting. Will I do it? Will I not?
Well, they have been trying to collectively do it, haven't they? Movistar. By the way, we're getting message after message with the recons being performed by various experts on the ground, and we're hearing from former Paris-Roubaix man Stuart O'Grady via Jens Vogt. Well, it's basically unbroadcastable, isn't it, what he's saying? Apparently Sector 4 isn't very nice, let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's the words of getting that from Jens Vogt in our chat group after speaking to his old teammate, mate of mine, Stuart O'Grady. He said he just rode Sector 4, and he was, yeah, it was in no uncertain terms how poor, he said, the condition of it is. About 3 inches deep in places, really soft, and just a large sort of just dumps of gravel and big stones too that just there's no traction on them.
9 seconds for the 5 up the road. Bobby, I've just had it suggested to me that the main reason you're so dismayed at the energy Delis is expending is that he's your breakaway predictions pick today. I'm not going to name names, but it was Dan Lloyd who told me that.
No, he is. I won't deny that. He is my pick, and I want him to score well for me. He had the legs to win yesterday. I thought he outthunk himself yesterday by just waiting too long. He was passed by Arun Buru, then he was passed by one of the riders from Bahrain. Had he just opened up at that moment, he would have found some clear air. He generally goes long in the sprint, and he waited and waited and then just could not find a way through, end up between the wheels of Philipsen and Gourmet, almost freewheeling up the hill. So, yeah, I have a vested interest in him scoring well today. But also, I'd really like to see him win a stage at any point in this tour. There's a form he's been carrying in. He's a really exciting rider, and I'd just like to see him ride it tactically a bit more astutely, as we see Primož Roglič being brought up, or bringing himself up, in fact, on the left-hand side on the wheel of one of the Israel Premier Tech riders. But no teammates around Roglič at the moment, and we're only 18 kilometres from the first sector of gravel. Only 1 star, maximum of 3 stars, most difficult. First one 1 star, second sector on the climb, 1,200 metres, 3 stars. it's coming in quickly. You're going to start to see the GC teams really pushing forward with their men.
Remco Evenepoel making sure he's at the front. Carlos Rodriguez is up there as well. Not too far away is Jonas Vingegaard, the yellow jersey in about 20th position. Attacks go, and we'll move on quickly. For the next little while, it's Carlton Kirby.
Thank you, Rob. Absolutely breathless. No surprise that Onadali is chomping at the bit. If you compare the races that could possibly compare to today, you'd be looking at the Tour de Lyon, Paris Tour as well, since it transformed itself from a Sprinters Classic into something more akin to today. But when you look at Onadali, well, after he finally broke the back of the Tour de Lyon, he finished fourth, finished second, and finally got the win. And I think therein lies his nervousness, Robbie. He knows what it's like to fail on a day like today. The plan par excellence, as far as he's concerned, at the beginning of the day hasn't quite worked out. He's got Joe Driesness up the road, but he's chomping at the bit, and he may well be biting off his own tongue here.
Well, that's the thing, chomping too much and breaking his back teeth, because he's got a man in the break.
Yeah.
You do not need to put your nose in the wind. If you still want to get in the break, you follow moves. If you get a gap, you contribute, but you certainly don't need to be the aggressor. And it's been both De Lee and Maxim van Gils, probably they're two protected riders for this stage. But at the moment, and since the start, they've been in a good situation with Driesner's up there. So I think they've just been overly nervous about it. But if you're in this group, you'd be just hearing the time gaps and thinking, all this energy, we've only got 8 seconds, and the first sector's coming in hot, and the peloton's only going to start moving quicker as the GC contenders team start bringing them to the front to get them a pole position start for the first sector of gravel. I am going to guess that the break is already doomed.
8 seconds, it certainly looks that way, Sean.
Yes, it looks very like that. It's not going to set that all in the front of the peloton as we get closer to the first important part. The gravel sections is going to just, be rapidly fast. Teams want to keep position, and unfortunately for the breakaway, they did a great job, managed to get into the very aggressive start breakaway of the day, and teams chase them down all the time with 7 seconds. They're hearing that, and yeah, this is going to be one where it's not going to be for the breakaway at all. And we're back to a situation now where onto the first section of cobbles, there's going to be a massive fight to get your positions here. And we can see the riders position themselves, and that's what they've got to do as we get ever so closer. Positioning top 25 in the peloton is where you have to try and fight for.
Well, these different gravel sections, Robbie, they have their levels of difficulty, and it's all due to the stability of the surface. The one that we're coming to is only 1 star, but it does go on for 2 kilometres once we slam into it.
Yeah, and as you said, Carlton, the consistency of the gravel is quite different across the day, and it's certainly all over this stage. The gravel is very different to that which we've seen at Strade Bianche, which is a very fine crush. You get some consistency, you can get some grip, a bit of traction. On today's gravel, it is very, very loose, and there's some extremely large stones, which it's even a push to call it gravel. It's almost like just river stones been dumped onto the road surface and kind of smoothed out, but not really. It is really loose. It is really rough. There are going to be a number of punctures today that we know. And one of the really interesting points about today is how teams have set themselves up in case of emergency.
Yeah, who's waiting?
Who's waiting? Who's swapping bikes? Where Remco Evenepoel, he can rely on Ilan van Wilden, a very similar-sized rider with the same seat height. We heard Jonas Vingegaard say at the start that Jan Tratnik has the bike for him because they ride the same seat height. We don't know who would do that for Primoz Roglic, but if you look down the list of the team, you sort of just look for the similar-sized riders, and you just have to make the best of it. But I would think in that team, Sobrero would be the one who would be closest in size to Roglic. So then we talk about the possibility of teams running dropper posts on teammates' bikes to have an instant bike change and adjustment to get by and stay in the race.
Yeah, just to be able to hand it over, Sean, as smoothly as you possibly can.
Yes, well, that is going to be important, that the man of your team with the same height of bike, the same size of bike, that he can be close to you. Because, to hop on a bike from a teammate that is, a couple of places behind you, you get going very quickly because the cars are going to be a long way. With all this mayhem is going to be on the sections of gravel here. And you can see there, that UAE Emirates, we could see there's some of the riders there, Almeida, Ayuso, quite a bit off, and this is going to be, you know, the concern now for the teams. They're going to be calling, okay guys, you have to get to the front, you know, no questions, you have to fight and take risk, and that is where we will see, you know, some of the problems. A possible of crashes before we ever get onto the gravel sections is very high here.
Well, that folding over of the action points, the gravel bleeding into some of the climbs. In fact, they fold into them constantly, Robbie. It's almost as if you could look at some of this gravel and think it should have tumbled down into the valley, because we're going to be heading to the Col de Béziers as well. That's part of the first gravel section, for goodness sake. And it's almost a constant throughout the first 3 phases of the gravel that it involves climbs as well.
Yeah, it's a lumpier terrain through the first part of this course, and it just throws an extra element into the mix. And you know, some of our GC contenders will be more than happy that gravel sectors are going uphill. They find themselves in their element when the gradients increase. But it's going to feel at some stages, particularly later on in the last sort of 7 sectors, which a lot of them are one star, but they'll come back to back, come very quickly after each other. So that's where we can expect to see punctures start to play a role, how organised teams are, the backup for the team leaders. These first sections, though, it's going to be incredibly nervous and a massive fight to be at the front. Jonas Vingegaard already riding there around 10th wheel, on the wheel of a teammate. I think that is Kelden at the moment who's guiding him through.
I think that's the point, Robbie, as well, is that finally, after over 30 kilometres of racing already, it's gone by so quickly, almost in the blink of an eye. Finally, you're seeing some of those who would be principal choices for their teams now filtering up towards the front. Aaron Burrow, one of those for Movistar. I think he and Oya Lazcano certainly would have been part of the hand that they would be hoping to play today. Movistar, in fact, constantly moving at the moment. They've just looking, Matthew Van der Poel looking static just for now. Tadej Pogacar's been a reasonably safe place. Here we are.
Keep your eyes open on Van der Poel. He's always there in the front, but didn't do anything yet.
And there it is, Sean. All the principals are starting to rise up to the front. Everyone knows it. They all want to mark each other out.
Well, a lot of them start to appear, of course, and we can see Van der Poel there. Any of the overhead shots we've had, he's just sitting there in the middle of that group. Pogacar also doing a really good job there. And, you know, if you read this race at the moment, with the breakaway, you know, just not getting the advantage and the race settling down at all, that's what you've got to do. And at this point on the road now, you have to just stay there in that top 20-25, but not contribute anything, just wait, and that's what we're seeing. But we can see it's starting to split a little bit here.
Yeah, big move there by Richard Carapaz. Cheeky move by the Ecuadorian from EF Education, dragging the group across to the break, but more reaction still coming. Jaco Alula looks like Michael Matthews trying to make a move across, tracked by one of the riders from EF who now up there, Paulus Carapaz. They've got another rider in the wheels coming across. So they're riding a good team race at the moment, EF Education.
Certain teams like DSM Firmenich Postonel would have wanted to be in the break today, couldn't quite get there. Degenkolb, Eekhoff, Frank van den Broek would have been their natural choices. Groupama Francis Tischer, they went with Gregoire at the beginning, but Stefan Koenig, certainly Valentin Madouas would think about this sort of day. And so their plans are starting to be shredded and then reformed at the moment. 163.1 kilometres still remaining, which means we're only 8 kilometres short away from our first gravel section today.
Yes, and we can see that big move, and Van der Poel, he just reads that well. You can see there's a lot of riders just out on the front here, and he is coming across. When you have a small number of riders getting out, 2 or 3 riders trying to chase that breakaway, it was always going to be difficult for the riders to get across. And that's what you have, you know, be able to do. Read it, who's moving, how many riders are out there, who's up there. And of course, Van der Poel, the classic specialist, you know, they can see that, they can smell that very quickly.
Well, he's been on lead-out duties, of course, for Justus Phillips. And today, Robbie's going to be helping himself if he can.
Of course, he's going to help himself. It's a stage that he has marked in his book ages ago, dressed all in white today. That means he's absolutely going for it, the world champion.
Under your advice, I understand.
Well, I said you wear the black nicks on rainy days or when you're not in form and not going for it. When you're going all white, that means you are all in and you feel incredible. And he's made his first big move of the day, jumping across to this large group. And that's I think, the right tactic for Van der Poel. You can't ignore a 20-man group going up the road, so you just got to nip across and join it. But that is closing up once again, and the first section of gravel starts at 151.7k to go. We're now around 9 kilometres from that first sector.
It's a big group, Sean. It's a handy one as well. There's a danger within this race that, and everyone knows it, that if you do find yourself often in the front group, you can be a contender at the end of the day. Doesn't matter who bridges to you on this sort of terrain with the sort of complications that it involves. You just don't know. Split, Sean, as well here.
Crosswind.
Yes. Well, there's a little bit of wind there, but I think it's the speed as well is really causing the problems. And yeah, you can see here, you know, that big group up front. There's always teams who will be coming to the front here and just not contribute at all. And if they really push on together here, that is the question. But Van der Poel immediately, as we see there, that, you know, that effort, get into that big move, sit on again here, just lead them right up in front and not get carried away, where we see the Belgian champion De Lee, he was doing a huge amount of work, and you know, now he's disappeared because of all of that, where he could have just sat back with a man out front.
What have we got? About 30 riders up in the front group at the moment, and what names are contained within them? Who's missed out? That's the big question. And it looks like De Lee may well be one of those that has skipped this particular one. Interesting as well to see that up front of the favoured sons that we've got up the road, Bettiol is not there. I'm just trying to see who else has missed it. There's a few. Well, that is... Well, when does it become significant, Robbie? A moment like this?
It becomes significant. Yeah, well, when you're unable to just jump across the gap anymore, we're hovering on that because of this bit of crosswind that's blowing. Biniam Girmay now has just gone through and done a turn on the front of the main peloton. A number of riders still just trying to make that acceleration, see if they can close the gap on their own, but there's no one team who are able to be organised enough to even try it. Look at them stringing out at the front of the main peloton. They swing across the road, get a little bit of shelter with that crosswind, try and form somewhat of an echelon. The cooperation at the front, not ideal at the moment. We've got 5 riders who've been away since the very start who make up part of this group. Others who have just made their way across, struggled in that crosswind section. So it's not a streamlined working group just yet. And I actually think it's a little bit too big to be successful. Too many passengers.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And there'll be a few with teammates and a few missing them as well. 5 seconds only, that's a very modest margin. It's been like this right from the very start, Sean. Anyone who's just joining us will think we've only just kicked off, but it's been going for well over 30 kilometres, nudging up to 40 now.
Yes, well, it's really aggressive racing. We can see here, you know, a lot of hand movements out in front there, and riders wanting the other ones to contribute. And as Robbie just mentioned, when you have a big group like that, you know, 5 riders maybe, it's, you know, very difficult to get everybody organised. And when you have, you know, 3 or 4 riders riding, and then they come back and they see, you know, there's 15 riders sitting on here, then it all falls apart.
It's great, Robbie, to see that Michael Matthews, after his disappointment yesterday, where he said he just doesn't quite know why it's not working for him, was kind of trying to blame it on a wisdom tooth, I think, at one point. It's good to see him with the verve to get up there.
Yeah, well, he's having a go early on. I'm a little bit in the sort of same frame of mind of Michael Matthews with Arnaud De Lee. Too much too soon. I think the winner of today is still ensconced in the bunch, or at least not done a turn just yet. Even a Mathieu van der Poel, we saw him make one short effort to get across, but then he actually didn't hit the front of that little group off the front, or large group off the front, because he's just making sure he's in it by being conservative at the same time. Tadej Pogacar sitting in the widest part of the peloton at all times, fully protected. I think he's riding a very intelligent race so far.
There you go. Total of 32.2 kilometres of today.
Hand side, Jonas Vingegaard is there, sat in second position.
It's amazing, isn't it? When there are certain marker riders, when you see them making their move, Danny, it generates a whole kerfuffle behind them, with teams suddenly thinking, it must be now, we better go.
Yeah, they would have all done their homework though at this stage, and a day like today will be ridden like a one-day classic race. So it's all about being at the front with strength in numbers, and this is the time you need to be there. Like I just said, 156.8 kilometres to go, and then there's a really, really fast approach where it will almost be too late to move up if you're not in a good position by that time on the road.
Robbie, the terrain here quite lumpy, as we've seen. It'll get a little bit more so because we're heading to the first of our categorised climbs today, and therein lies another problem for just about everybody. And it seems that a little bit of a settling is now being imposed on everybody by UE Team Emirates. You're not going to get that lasting for long, surely.
Well, it won't last for long, but you can see the GC teams, that of UAE for Tadej Pogacar, Visma Leasabot, Jonas Vingegaard front and centre. On the right-hand side, Primož Roglic in third wheel of his team behind his big, powerful teammates like Nico Dents, Danny van Poppel, Marco Haller. So they've all come to the front and they're trying to just maintain that position now. It's not about getting to the front and just drilling it as hard as you can. Get there, spread out across the road, shut things down and make sure your team leader's protected. We had three UAE riders right at the front, but Tadej Pogacar sitting back further in the middle of the peloton. But it's something we've become used to, isn't it? He just sort of does his own thing, happy to float. Remco Evenepoel significantly further back in the peloton.
Look how tightly packed it is now as well. Almost impossible for a rider like Remco Evenepoel, who's just been highlighted now towards the back, right in the centre. It's going to be really tough for him to move up, and there's not much time to do it.
The good news is, though, for a guy like Remco, even for Tadej, that the first section is only a one-star section, but there'll be a lot of stress coming in towards it, so that probably gives it an extra star on top.
Not only that, they're going to be riding into a tailwind, so it's going to be really, really tough to move up after that section.
The next sector's uphill, and that's what they much prefer because they find it really easy to move up on a 3-kilometre incline.
I love this. There's almost a request. Do you mind if I come through? Yeah, off you go. Smack on the backside and the stallion and exit. This is not what you want, just as you're approaching our first sector of significance, which comes incidentally in about 5 kilometres time. That's not been quite busy today, I must admit.
Yeah, well, that was Gianni Vermeer's former gravel world champion, who was the one who pushed down the accelerator, and it's dragged out, what is that, 7 riders or so?
Just count them up for you, yeah. I think 9 to be joined by 2. And it's Movistar. If that's it's not Aaron Burrow, but I think that might be Loscano who's trying to make the trip here. He was their main card to play today, I think. So this is that lumpy section I was telling you about. So it's a downhill kind of drag to our first sector now. Robbie, you say it's only a star 1, which means I assume that the surface has a reasonable integrity about it.
Well, it should do, being a one-star sector. It's also fairly short, at just 1,200 metres long or so. Let's see. No, actually, it's 2,000 metres long. Next section is 1,200, but 2,000 metres, 1 star, must mean it is both flat and relatively good condition. Maybe not all that really rocky gravel, but a bit more dirt, a bit more traction and grip, and hence the 1 star. But it's not long after that they'll be hitting the next section. But this is actually a really good time to make a move, because you've got GC teams up there just trying to consolidate, be in position, not use energy, shut things down, and if you can get away, dare to use a bit of energy now. If you can get the gap, you could really see it open up nicely before you get to the first sector.
Stefan Kuhn, one of those that's making a move up here. Mark Cavendish as well, with his avowed aim, as Rob was pointing out a little bit early on, of being in a breakaway at least once in his career and landing a stage win. You just never know. 154 kilometres to go, which tells you that we are, 3 kilometres, maybe 3.5 kilometres away from that first little test that we're going to have today. All 2 kilometres of it going, including the Côte de Bergière. We won't be thinking about mountains points today. It's about survival, Sean. Oh, Sean's on a break, I beg your pardon. Supping his coffee. 19 seconds. Tom Pidcock's been here and hereabouts. Robbie, he's clearly wants to be involved at some point. It's great to see that perhaps his illness that was suggesting itself over a couple of days ago is perhaps ebbing.
No, he's been priming himself for this one. I did see him there in the background make the jump to get across to this group, but everything's about to be reabsorbed by the looks of things. There's been more accelerations in the peloton. There's always someone who feels like they've missed out. So, I mean, it's a good gap, 20 seconds, but approaching the first sectors.
That's got to be Matthew's day, isn't it? Or maybe Matthew's
his
Chateau.
weekender.
Yeah, we haven't had a chance to get to John Harris Bass just yet, but just to remind you, he's here. John, briefly about this.
Lovely chateau de Vigny. This was one which was built by the Baron de Cachard. He was a man who was ennobled by Louis XVIII, and then he earned the nickname the Gentleman Wine Grower. I quite
Sounds
fancy
like
that.
you, John.
I quite fancy that as a nickname.
As opposed to the other wine growers who were
Just nobility, I guess.
Arses. Le derrière. Anyway, 152.6 kilometres. Oh, words there. 16 seconds is your gap at the moment, and it's been absolutely relentless, Danny. I don't think I've seen a. How many kilometres have we had, for goodness sake? This is almost. It's bordering on the outrageous. 47.
46k done, 47k done. Average now of just over 50 kilometres an hour. Gone down a touch as the road's got a little bit lumpier, but the first half an hour was ridden at 52 kilometres an hour.
Here comes the rocket ship up towards the front, guiding absolutely everyone, setting the mood, I think, Danny.
Yeah, and you can see almost that lead-out formation. This is the left-hand turn into the first sector here.
Here we
really
go.
fast entry.
Last thing you need as well is motorcycles kicking up even more dust as you go to it. Well, the first sector is raining down upon us. You can already see the cloud being kicked up here. Now, if this is only a 1-star, it means that it's the least difficult of the sort of terrain that we're going to be dealing with. No wonder the likes of Patrick Lefebvre, when it came to Paris Tour and they adopted this kind of terrain, said we're not coming back until you drop it. Well, they've never been back since because it's never been dropped. Who's going to get dropped right now? That's the big question, Danny. Here we go.
Here we go. This is the first section then. It's only a 1-star, but look at the dust that the motorbikes have picked up here as well.
1-star sector, but with a 5-star entry, if you ask me.
Absolutely. Such a quick entry into this first sector. So it'll be interesting to see who's made the front of that peloton behind. They will be flying into this sector here.
Well, that is a sign there. So Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, they've got themselves front in control and then drop the speed down really carefully around the corner because they're not trying to chase this break, they're just trying to protect Primoz Roglic
look at this.
and traffic jam.
Suddenly backed right up. It's exactly what happens. You get a compression, both laterally and longitudinally, I guess you might say. Suddenly the pace is ripped out of it, and those who find themselves at the back find themselves in trouble as well. This is not a happy place to be, Robbie.
And Aramburu on the move now, the Spanish champion going up the road and following the move of the Cofidis rider. I couldn't quite pick up who it was, but it might have been Axel Zingler. Again, he's been active all stage so far. Red Bull Bora trying to just keep things under control, maintain position. All they want to do is keep Primoz Roglic at the front of the group.
Yeah, 3 of the big 4 at the front that I've spotted. But again, Remco Evenepoel, I couldn't quite pick out in that kind of front little bubble in that peloton. So it'll be interesting to see where he's found himself into this first sector.
This is the dust kicked up by the camera bike as you're seeing it right now. I was just about to say that thankfully the wind is favouring those further back. If you're up front, you're getting the dust kicked in your face by the camera bike. I think we should possibly rely on the helicopter, and maybe that's what the director's saying. But get the camera bikes out, and you can see them sprinting away from those out front because they're hampering them. If you look at the way the wind's blowing at the moment, it's taking the dust over to the left-hand side of the riders. Those who are being filmed in close proximity don't have that gift, Robbie.
No, it's equally as hard as riding the gravel, if not harder, is the dust that's kicked up by the race vehicles in front. I'd love to see them take a lot more distance,
yes,
because this is hampering the riders so much. You know, you see just from a motorbike how much dust is coming up, let alone all the vehicles going in front. And because the gap is very small between brake and peloton, the riders at the front of the peloton actually have really nice clean air to ride through. But if you're at the very front of the race and trying to chase across with a motorbike camera in front, you are choking.
You are Ballerini making the trip here. The camera bike just trying to get a little bit more distance, as you can see. If that is the easiest sector, Danny, not through it just yet. You can see it counting down. Still got 100 metres or so for those who are at the front. And finally, they get some relief right now as it pans out. You can see how lumpy the terrain is as well. But if that was the easiest, Lord help us.
I mean, it's going to be carnage, isn't it? And like average. Let's just see. Oh.
So there's Lascano. He's also got a teammate. Sorry, that was Aramburu. He's got Lascano up in the front. So Movistar already sort of activating their two protected riders for this stage. At least in our minds, they are classics types to go off the front. But a strong front group, but also up there now. Jasper Sturven has made the move into that group, and that is an absolute pure classics rider.
Well, these 90-degree turns to get onto it and then get off it, I think should have added another star just for that. I don't think they expected, perhaps, Danny, for the entire peloton to still be together on that transition onto that first part of gravel.
No, but you could see as soon as they got onto the gravel, I just saw a little hand gesture from the Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe rider who was at the front, just to try and calm things down a little bit to the team of UAE, and you could see the composition really, really changed. First puncher.
There we are. Won't be the last.
Won't.
Goodness me. Well, it's
Christian Aiking.
yeah, who's just being dealt with right now. Meanwhile, Brian Coquard on board with him in the cars. You know, it's not whether you're going to get bad luck today, it's just how much of it, Robbie.
Yeah, when you're going to get it,
Yeah.
and you know what sort of assistance you can get. Speaking of that, I've been told by a source close to us here at Eurosport with Primoz Roglic and his Red Bull Bora team that Sobrero is the closest match to bike fit for Roglic, but on every sector they have 4 people covering all bases, spare wheels, spare bikes, you name it, they've got it. So it's a cast of thousands out there today as far as team assistance goes.
Ballerini just distanced by Alexander Bora and Zingler for Cofidis. Up front we have Reinders, Stuyven, Vermeersch, Nielsen Paulus, Maxim van Gils. We have Derek G, who's been very active from the bay beginning of today. Oilas Cano is there, so is Javier Romo. Alexei Lutsenko's had one of the quietest tours so far that's been upon his books. A man who's had top 10s on a couple of occasions in GC by the end of the tour, always warms up within it. Well, running hot today, he's with Anthony Turgis. Ben Healy and Tom Pidcock, that's a very, very good pairing. Sean Kelly will have a smile across his visage, I can tell you, whenever Ben Healy's name is mentioned. But it looks like, at least for the time being, a little bit of a holding pattern. Is that after the first wake-up call, Danny?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, these riders at the front haven't lost any time. They haven't punctured, so they're just going to be trying to keep position on the road here. It's these 2 riders now. And Tom Pidcock and Ben Healy. Ben Healy's been trying for a couple of days, hasn't he? He has been super, super aggressive. So they'll be really happy with this move, as will Ineos Grenadiers. They'll be looking after Carlos Rodriguez, of course. But Tom Pidcock could be a great rider for today with his expertise on the gravel, of course. And he'll make up so much time on all of the corners with his bike handling skills.
Well, he's got to get across first. Well, look, they're trying which way to get across. Grass, gravel, you name it, they'll ride it. But Pidcock trying to go across with Ben Healy. Healy's got a teammate up there in Nielsen Paulus, who's part of the original break of the day. But Ben Healy, he's making a contribution. He's going to work with Pidcock to get across, because having 2 in the break is better than having 1, even though he's bringing the likes of Tom Pidcock with him.
Yes, indeed. Interesting as well that before the day started, we're trying to figure out, with a classic like this imposed upon a tour, what kind of rider's going to thrive on it. And it's great to see Romain Bardet with a bit between his teeth, a man who, of course, opened up the joy for France with victory into Rimini at the start of this race. Seems an awful long time ago now, almost another Grand Tour altogether. Well, he's having another dig, and that kind of underscores what we're saying about the difficulty in picking what kind of rider will thrive today. 147 kilometres then remaining, and we start to think inexorably about our next challenge down the road. It will be the gravel road of Baroville, and that goes on for 1,200 metres. We've got our intermediate sprint sandwiched as well between all the nastiness today. Danny, this is fabulous.
Yeah, it is fabulous, and this is what we wanted to see. It's going to be a spectacle, isn't it, from start to finish. You cannot take your eyes off this screen, but like you said, it's going to be that next sector, which is the first 3-star sectors, so one of the hardest. It is on a climb as well, so yeah, we've got riders all over the road here. Riders trying to make that front group. Axel Zingel.
Wow.
Pidcock.
Our average pace, by the way, is 3 kilometres per hour, faster than the quickest projected pace. Robbie, nobody expected it to be this quick, and I think they thought it'd be a bit more thinned out by the time we got to the first of our challenges. There's no sign of it diminishing the drive today.
Carlton, I'm going to be honest and say I expected it to be this quick. The aggression from the get-go, I think it was always going to be there. Riders trying to get in a break, those who are nervous about the stage or just licking their lips and the dust off their lips eventually at the prospect of winning a Tour de France stage and getting out there in what is shaping up like a true one-day classic. It's just raining attacks constantly now, and teams who have missed out getting in the break are still scrambling. And even Michael Matthews going again. He does have Elmar Anders, his teammate, the Dutchman, up front in the group.
Hugo Page, one of those from Intermarché Wanty without an option today. Lawrence Rex was so busy at the beginning of today. He's no longer part of the front group, but Page wants to fold over and have a dig. Mike Turnus will, of course, be another of their golden cards to play today. But, Danny, every single team has got significant riders who could be a feature today, and I think that explains really the pace that we've had right from the start.
Yeah, of course, and not only that, but the makeup of the teams selected for this Tour de France as a whole would have been selected on this stage especially as well, looking at the ways in which these riders could look after their GC contenders.
It's been remarkable. Ever since the Tour de France course was announced, we've got a tumble. Yes, we have. Thankfully.
Looks like he's having
Casual
a little,
nature break.
Yeah, I was going to say. Good timing there.
Hope he didn't roll in front of him, but anyway.
Yeah, I was thinking exactly the same. On the upside, he's crashed into the grass and the weed. On the down, well, on the upside again, he stopped on time.
Really soft in the area.
It's kind of like being tarred and feathered, but in a different way. I'll tell you what else is significant up in that front group for Alpecin de Koenig is former gravel world champion Gianni Vermeers, and now back here, Davide Ballerini dropped from Pidcock and Ben Healy, but he's now with Arnaud Delis and Clément Rousseau, and they're starting to make their way across, and things seem to be just calming down in the peloton. So Delis, even though I think he's been a bit hot-headed on this stage, wasted some energy, he may be just starting to get himself in a position where they, hopefully for them, can ride their way across and into the group.
Yeah, of all of those that are up the road at the moment, 12 in the front group, pursued by a selection, a little smorgasbord of some, of which Pidcock and Ben Healy are indeed abreast. They're around about half a minute down, as you can see. The best placed is Derek G, actually, at 5 minutes and 52. Then comes Ben Healy at 8 minutes 59. So there is, if there is to be an accord, and those who would not...
Okay, we can just back our effort off just a touch now. Do we fear we're out of reach from the peloton at the moment and settle into a rhythm?
Well, the terrain here, it's like a roller coaster ride. They're screaming down, as you can see. A little bit of interchange here, a suggestion that we're up to a 90-degree turn by the way that they're taking it on. I'm just wondering whether it was actually the traffic calming. Indeed, and here is that turn. So today, not a whole load of wind, but there's possibly enough around there to cause some worriment, and it's not dispersing the gravel, the dust that's kicked up by the gravel too quickly, which suggests it's quite a light wind today. So at least one thing for them to worry less about, Danny.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if it was blowing a hoolie, it would be absolute carnage, because there are quite a few exposed sections along the route. Just going to hear from Team DSM Firmenich Post NL by the looks of things.
Come on, guys, we have to be more in the race. We have to be more in the race. Everyone has to be following the people. Everybody should be following the people.
Well, that's because of Eekhoff and Van den Broek, who have not made the trip. Romain Bardet is kind of carrying the beacon for them, carrying the flame at 51 seconds, and it's kind of a now or never call seem to have gone up there. We're just going to welcome back our wider cycling fraternity. Welcome back, everybody. A rather forlorn call from Matt Winston for Team DSM Firmenich Post NL. That the race is starting to go away from the 2-minute margin. They've got Romain Bardet in no man's land at the moment, hoping to be part of proceedings, but they've missed the move, essentially. John Degenkolb, you'd have thought, would have had more wits about him. Van den Broek, Eekhoff as well, were all cards for them to play. But frankly, the game looks like it may well have already been dealt. So you've got to play with what you've got. And what we've got right now is Adam Blythe coming into the commentary position. Adam, I don't know whether you've been watching. I don't know whether you managed to catch your breath. I should say.
This is the best stage we've had
While
so
you've
far.
been watching, have you managed to catch your breath? It's been phenomenal.
It's been unbelievable. I mean, this is what
Sorry.
we're expecting with a start like this. As Magnus Court starts to accelerate again, just getting on the back of the Lee's wheel. But this has been fascinating so far. There's so many riders with huge ambitions today for the stage. With the GC relatively calm of what we've been expecting it to be. But for this race for the stage win, it is on. It's brilliant.
Wonderful racing.
We just had yellow jersey passing us right now. One teammate on his side. They will come back, but we do go fast on this part. It's still open and windy, but Pogacar looks like he is actually in control. He decided to stop for a little break, and he is back on his way to the peloton. Back to the commentators.
Thank you, Yenzi. Yes, Adam, it's been absolutely full on. We're much quicker than anyone bar Roy McEwen, it seems, thought it would be today. In fact, the design of the course, I think, has been tested royally because of the compression of the peloton going into some of these action points today. We've got another one rapidly approaching, and they're going to get tighter and tighter and tighter every single one of these tests, aren't they?
They are, well, they are for a little bit, but the legs are going to get tighter and tighter and tighter. And for these two, it's not the first time they've been in a similar situation like this. Liège-Bastogne-Liège 2 years ago, they were in a similar situation, chasing Remco Evenepoel down and they're back together again. Almost made contact with the front group, but the efforts each of these are going to have to put in, and even Dali here, I mean, these guys are going to be in no man's land for a long, long time. I think when they get onto the gravel, they have just got to really squeeze on and push on and really try and break across for that. And on the gravel might be the opportunity to do so, but it is absolutely everywhere. And even though that peloton's at 2:09, each section they come into, that peloton will speed up the position. So that time gap will just keep coming down, going back out, coming back down, going back out. And if it stays relatively close or it comes down enough, we might even get more attacks from behind from the peloton. It doesn't really matter at what point in the race. There is always going to be action. As you see, a problem there for number 74. It looks like Chris Harper just jumping back on his bike.
Yep, just about getting there. It's that fight for space. You've got your DSs screaming at you to get yourself into position. There's a whole sequence of little lifeboats that you can kind of jump from one to the other if you were to go for it, Danny. And therein lies the temptation. There's not much road space. You suddenly find yourself just off the edge, and we've seen a few riders so far, because of the pace apart from anything else, and the way the twists and turns are revealing themselves, that find themselves out of road.
Yeah, there's going to be riders taking risks today. That's Wout van Aert, you can see on the front of this group here. A lot of presence from Red Bull at the front. Really impressed by the way they're riding so far, and that's what it's all about. You have to keep that position on the road, keep turning between yourselves at the team, and it just highlights that importance of strength in numbers. You can see all of the Ineos Grenadiers team as well, right at the front of the peloton, of course, with Tom Pidcock up the road. It is closing 12 seconds for Pidcock and Healy to that front group, so it looks like to me that they are going to make it here.
Dare I suggest, Adam, that if Pidcock and Healy make it, that will add a great deal of strength. It'll be up to 14 with enough teams, I think, sitting behind that have riders placed within that front group, taking it to 14 superstars that could actually deliver to them.
There will add firepower to it, or those two coming across to it. There'll be a lot more watching. There'll be a lot more riders trying to miss a few turns here and there as well. Because those two, as they can both win this stage if they're in that group. So all the riders will be aware of that, and the firepower that's within that front group as well. There's so many people that can win this stage. So it's going to be Jake Stewart just getting onto the back of the lead group as well there. So he's in a fantastic ride on his own to be able to jump across to these guys.
He's shown so much power and vim and vigour in this race, as this man. I'd just love to see him deliver something from it. Likewise, Healy has been absolutely vigorous. They're hulled at 10 and 11 seconds. They're kicking on. I'm not sure they want them. Here's Ineos.
Lee is not making up ground on you, so you need to get to that front 10 now with Healy. Really good.
There we are, exactly as we were saying, Adam.
That gap is enormous. I know it only says 13 seconds, 12 seconds, but with two of them against the 12 up the road, they're all rotating. They're not faffing about at the minute. They know that they've got to commit to this. So these guys, if these guys are rolling through and doing 350 watts, and these guys behind, there's only two of them, they've got to do 400 watts. They've got to
ever so slightly going into it as well. So if they're going to make contact, it has to be sooner rather than later.
And then to the takeoff, just going up and speaking to the Movistar riders, basically trying to spur them on to prevent these guys from joining them, or at least tire them out, so that the effort that they put in by the time they do get there may well have a cost for them later on in the race. This is a thankless task when you're in this kind of situation, Danny. There's two of them basically against a whole an enormous team time trialing unit that are all, it seems, prepared to work against them, and as together as a unit of 12.
Yeah, of course. They're not going to want these two riders to make that junction with them at this stage. The good thing about with Healy and Pidcock is they're both fully committed here. Absolutely 100% effort to try and bridge that gap. We are coming closer to the next section, of course, as well. That third three-star section is on the climb, so that's their chance to really give it everything to try and close it as soon as possible. You can see Tadej Pogačar just on the right-hand side, so he'll do all he can to move up. Just lost his teammate there. He's coming back, of course, from that nature break that we saw earlier. Michael, I've got a question for Adam, though. None of the big four teams are featured at the front of the race. Do you think that's a mistake, or do you think that's because they're putting all their effort into their GC leaders?
Both. I mean, you know, being at the front of the race would be great for them, but if one of them was at the front of the race, they'd all have to be at the front of the race. That battle behind, the riders that are up the road now, Derek G is up there at, what, 5 minutes 52? After that, no one really is a threat, but that GC battle will still happen behind. Regardless if there's riders out the front who are possible of winning a stage or not, they will still race from that group in the back there, and they need the teams around them, so they're not going to make those moves. They're not
More
going to
for the
ride
stage win, I was thinking, you know,
GC guys.
well, for the teams of the GC guys, not for the GC guys themselves, but to not have anyone featured in that front group. If that goes all the way to the line, of course, then they're almost giving up a stage win, aren't they?
Yeah, they need to.
Jason Paulus drops out of the front group and collects this pair. Been told to come back here. Also dragging up, of course, Tom Pidcock along with them. But this is for Ben Healy. Remarkable. They've drifted out to 16 seconds, so they need a little bit of help. Clever work, the right thing to do. Paulus then collects them. Ben Healy just taking a little bit of respite as Pidcock just rolls to the front here. 3 up is better than 2 up, but look at the gap. It's gone up to 18 seconds now. This is the group with Arnaud de Lee, who's still hanging out there with 1 minute and 17. Just going to shortly welcome back our wider fraternity. Adam, you were saying?
Just back to what Danny was saying there, why the GC teams aren't going for a stage win. The overall is more important than a stage win. They'll get the chances for that in the mountains for sure, but today is not a day for that. It's about not losing time and getting across the line with your GC rivals. It's not at all on the radar for a stage win today.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was alluding to. All the eggs in the GC basket.
Welcome back, everybody. Just under 135 kilometres to go. Abramson on a mission, as he constantly has been throughout this entire race. In fact, we all have been. A man on a mission is Rob Hatch, who joins us now.
Thanks, Colton. 134 k's to go, and UAE Emirates protecting their men at the front. Another acceleration from the back, and out of the back of this group, we just saw Nilsen Paulus drop back to help Ben Healy. He's now trying to pilot both Healy and Pidcock up to the front. In the meantime, there's a little look down at the bike from Elmar Reinders. Pidcock here, a reminder, he's won Strade Bianche, been the cyclocross world champion, the Olympic mountain bike world champion. Here he is, and he's trying desperately to be at the front. Tom Pidcock came to look at this stage as early as November. He's had his eye on it.
He's had his eye on it, Rob, and quite rightly so. You just mentioned his results and his achievements that he's had, and this stage does suit him. It's one that he'll enjoy, and I think for Tom Pidcock, that is the main thing. We know how excited he does get about
Hit him!
racing.
Yeah.
The different disciplines that he does, and today, if you're in that front group, you've got chance of a win. Tom's enjoyment and his passion and love for the sport will really show within his performance of doing that. Sliding around on the gravel, taking risks, being able to use his bike handling skills to the maximum capabilities that he's got. That's what he loves doing, and when you're happy and you're having fun on the bike, especially a rider like Tom, that's when you can get to your best. That's when you can get to that highest level. So Yeah, they're almost on the back of that group, but the effort that they've got to make through this wouldn't surprise me. Paulus, the effort he's had to make to bring this back. When you get onto the next section, he is really going to struggle, because this isn't about Paulus staying in the group, it's about getting Healy in the group and then doing what he can for Healy. It's showing who is important and who is the leader within that EF team today.
It's incredible in the peloton. Every time we look, we think it calms down and there's another move. Yet another jump. By the way, you talked about the next sector. It's approaching, and very quickly, the front of the race, they're now just 1.3 kilometers away from sector 13, and rather like in Paris-Roubaix, they are reverse numbering the sectors. So we started at 14, we go to 1, and Jonas Abrahamsen moves again, as we remember the late, great Raymond Poulidor.
I think Van der Poel's not really trying to help himself there today, Rob. You know, we've seen him like jumping in a few moves, following the moves, but he will have a target on his back today. You know, he's got Gianni Vermeersch, the gravel world champion 2 years ago, the first ever gravel world champion, I believe. So he's in a group, and it's a great ride into having that group. But for Van der Poel, he will be marked out today, as he is within a classic, but completely ridden differently. As we see Pidcock, Healy and Paulus pretty much getting on the back of that group, but just look at Healy, just that gap opening up ever so slightly. As I said, the effort they'll have to make, or had to make, to get into this group will be huge, and the riders within the group, they will try and force them to come through quickly. They don't want them to give them time to recover ahead of this gravel section. They want to put them under stress. They want to force them to come through and make them work hard.
Not just a gravel section as well. This is a really tough section. 3 kilometres at about 4% average. So will Paulus be able to hang on? You would say it's perfect timing to make this junction for this group.
Alex Aramburu twisting and turning. We're approaching the second of the 14 sectors. 32 kilometres in total off-road today, and this group, just in time, has joined together. There are now 14 riders at the front with over 2 minutes, 2:25 in fact, back to the yellow jersey group. This is Mohoric, current gravel world champion, and now we begin our next classified climb. 2.8 k's to the top, and it comes just after the end of this particular gravel sector. So Côte de Barroville, including the gravel sector in it, and we said that it doesn't always look like Strada Bianca today. This is one of the sectors where it does. It's up, and you can see already you have to be in the right place, but you have to have the watts as well here, Adam.
You've got to have the watts as well, and this is a really difficult situation for the riders now. Within this group, they've got 3 Movistar riders, so if you're the likes of Pidcock, who's just got on, you can almost force the Movistar riders to do more. Both of them are doing the work, but they need a real leader within this group. They need one person to work for, and I can imagine it's Lozcano. You know, he's won on the gravel race in Spain there, that he had a fantastic performance. He's shown himself good throughout all the classics this year, but at this point here, they're pushing on so hard. They've still got 131 k's to go. They can afford just to sit back a bit, not get too stressed, not get too carried away, and just get one of the riders. You know, you've got Javier Romo on the front right now. He can set that tempo of these gravel sections that lets the likes of Lozcano just sit on the wheel and have that little bit more, not recovery through it, but just an easier ride through these gravel sections. But Stuyven, he's not having the best of times here.
Nelson Paulus as well, I just spotted, has also been dropped. So that effort of getting those across, but Ben Healy is their guy, so you could say that was the plan for EF.
I feel it's all going to look very different by the time they get to the top in that front group. There are big, big differences with being able to stay or not. Next group, second group on the road at 1:25 now. They're calling it the Dury group, but there are other superstars here like Marnus Kort in T2. Romain Bardet is in there as well. Davide Ballerini, who is an Omloop et Nieuwsblad winner. Let's not forget there's Stuart too. 94 up there for Groupama. It's Stefan Kung. And this at the left-hand side, look at how difficult it is just to keep it upright.
This is the problem. So you can see where the car tracks have been. On the cobbles, you don't ride where the cars have been. You ride in the middle of it. That's the smoothest section, because on the cobbles, the cars kick the cobbles around and make them rougher. On this, where the cars have been, it makes it smoother. So if you get caught from left to right and you hit a deeper gravel patch, that's when what happens, like it happened to Ballerini, then you slip and slide, can't get the traction that you need.
Now this is a fight at the front of those chasing on. This is one of the most important points of today's stage, Danny. You can see first and second in the GC in the last few years. Visma and UAE, first and third at the moment, fighting for position for each and every gravel sector.
Yeah, and both of those teams that you mentioned are doing a perfect job for their leaders, making sure they're at the front. Few gaps though developing here on the left for the team of UAE, so Tadej Pogacar is going to have to pick his line here. Oh, carnage at the back.
And this is why you fight for position at the front, because if you're stuck behind anybody who has an issue, you are going to be struggling. We've got riders running on the left-hand side. We've seen that the left is not the place to be on this sector. That is why Pogacar's over to the right. Visma Leasabike knew that you had to be over to the right-hand side. And this is carnage. This is chaos. Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe with Nico Denz running on the left-hand side. 74 Mikel Landa doing the same. Wout van Aert in issues as well. Oh my word.
Where's Roglic? I've not seen Roglic yet. Tadej Pogacar's there just a little bit further back. Jonas Vingegaard's there moving up with Tish Benoot just in front of him. I saw Remco, I believe he's just there, just the second man at the back from that shot in the white jersey, but I have not seen Roglic as of yet.
Well, Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe had issues. They might have bigger ones by the end of this sector because there are several of their riders caught up. We've already seen Denz running. This is Van Poppel on the left-hand side. Inol van Wilden, who, by the way, is supposed to be staying close to Remco Evenepoel, the same bike fit, is right at the back of the peloton, clipped out, trying to get going again.
It's almost impossible as well to gain that traction on these gravel sections. If you've had to pull your foot out, you can see it's absolute chaos behind as Michael Matthews is about to get swamped up by this group, taking control of Visma.
Rob, no Roglic.
No, not in this shot at all, and there's a gap behind. There's a gap behind. Mathieu van der Poel is at the back of it. I'm looking at Giulio Ciccone. He's following on nicely. In there, you can see Carlos Rodriguez isn't badly placed. Evenepoel is well placed right next to the yellow jersey. Vingegaard's been perfectly looked after, but Roglic is the early victim here. It is not fatal yet, but let's have a look. He's at 100 metres behind Mathieu van der Poel on this picture.
No Remco either in this front group.
In there.
Yeah, he's there, he's there.
Okay.
He's there, white jersey on, right next to Tadej Pogacar. He has Gianni Moscon to help him here.
Look at the team of Visma Leasabike though, you know, they've got the riders, they've got the people that know how to attack these stages, know how to get in position. We've seen how dominant they have been in the classics before, and that is exactly what they're
There's
doing.
Roglic. Here is Primož Roglic, and he's in this next group travelling along, around 100 metres difference on the road. Looking around there is Sobrero. He wants a little bit of help. He's the man who we were hearing from a little early on. He's the closest bike fit. He's the man who has to stay alongside Roglic. Now, let's have a look what it looks like. Oh, that is bigger. That is bigger than 100 metres now, Adam. And Primož Roglic could be in huge trouble here.
Primož Roglic looks like he could be in huge trouble here. They're just getting off the gravel section now, so they'll keep accelerating. I think Visma Leasabike in the situation that they're in now, look at the strength in numbers they've got right towards the front. Look at the amount of riders they've got to work through and off, and they are doing. Keeping it on the gas at the front. Interesting to see there that the Red Bull rider was sat second wheel in Roglic's group. He wasn't pulling immediately. He had a rider along next to him, and he was looking over his shoulder. They're not panicking as of yet. There is a lot of road in between these sections, but they are going to have to ride hard with the way that Visma Leasabike are riding on the front of that group. They are not here to play today.
Visma Leasabike as well. You take a very close look at their team. It's a classics team. You've got Tish Benoot, who's won Strade Bianche. Matteo Jorgensen, who's taken Dwars door Vlaanderen. Gent Wevelgem for Christophe Laporte. Wout van Aert, the cyclocross world champion on several occasions, and Cobble Gobbler on other days as well. Plus Jan Tratnik, who's also won the Omloop at Nieuwsblad.
Oi, 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 Deli.
And this is Deli.
Not good for him, Deli.
Too much too soon, sorry, Adam.
But, I mean, he's full gas. He's been full gas since the start trying to get in that group. But when you are full gas onto a climb like that's been, and then you just hit the red zone, the best thing for him to do is just realise it's on behind it and then sit up, get that breath back. Just to note there, Tadej Pogacar got 4 teammates with him. He's got Adam Yates there, he's got Almeida there, he's got Marc Soler there with him as well. So he has got that strength in numbers. Remco has only got Gianni Moscon in there as well. And obviously Visma Leasabike, the big 4 that we're looking at, they have got strength in numbers. Tish Benoot right towards the back of that group. Rodriguez has made it from Ineos. That looks like Kevin, I've forgotten his second name, apologies. Vauquelin in the background with another teammate behind him. Pale Bill Bowes in there as well up towards the front with Matej Mohoric from Bahrain. So the big riders we're expecting to be up there today, They are all there, apart from Roglic.
Roglic is travelling with a gap of 35 seconds at the minute, Danny. Again, the alarm bells are going off, but they're not panicking. But something needs to be done quickly.
Yeah, of course it does. This is going to be really stressful for that team, losing time to that front group. You can see Visma are going to do all they can here to try and make it a really hard job for the Red Bull Hansgrohe team. But yeah, stress for that team nonetheless. And Tadej Pogačar, the difference here is for these riders now, of course they're going to try and apply the pressure and keep it on, but psychologically it's going to be so much less stressful for them versus Roglic behind.
I think, Rob, one of the reasons that they're keeping it on like this is to keep it strung out. They're not necessarily doing it to gap Roglic, they're doing it like they can take control. We mentioned this in our show this morning that Remco, the best thing for him would be to do is to stretch things out, to keep it on, to keep him in that good position. Jonas Vingegaard now has got the easiest ride in terms of he's got his